Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel and welcome back to the 5th Dimension SMP realm and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Things have been kicking off lately with the addition of a new mob farm down here. It's very secret and it's actually been working a heap. Like, look at this. There's so many things being spawned up here, and I think the main reason is because we actually live up in a floating island. We don't have to do any mob proofing as long as the island itself is not spawning any mobs. And look at all this. There is so much streaming in. I have barely been online in the past week because of real life events. I haven't even been playing much or recording at all. This is the first time in quite a long time. And boom, look at this. We have been making quite a bit out of this farm. There's only 5 spawning platforms and we're really getting our what do you call it? We're really getting paid back for our hard work. Also, in the last episode, we actually joined the Spruce Society for the Wood Wars, and that was pretty cool. We have to do something on that at some point in the future, but for now, I think we're going to be working on something that we haven't touched in over a month or two. You see, at the beginning of the realm, it was pretty much the beginning, I guess. We actually built up the framework for our islands, and this island here we completed just a few weeks ago. It's pretty bit good, and it was a massive project for me. It took me a long time to complete this. I don't know why so long, but it was a while. Now that I'm looking at this island, I was just thinking it is so large, and it is going to look out of proportion if we actually go ahead with it. So what I was thinking is we're going to be narrowing this down a little bit today, making it from 180 blocks in diameter, the circle, to about 150, and that is sure to make things a lot easier for us and make the islands look a little bit more in proportion. Otherwise, we're going to have that tiny island, that smallish island, this midget island, and that average island. Otherwise, we're going to have all those islands look absolutely dwarfed by this, which is what I was thinking about going for until I realized, wait a minute, that probably won't look good at all. And trust me, it's a lot more work if I did it that way. So what we're going to do straight up is a quick time lapse of me destroying the framework and then building up the next one of a much smaller one. Hopefully it looks good. We shall find out. But yeah, and just to let you guys know, I plan on starting the megabase this episode, like the framework of it, like the proper building up those. You'll see in the thumbnail that's that thing. We're going to actually build that up, and it's going to look super cool and hopefully work. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe because there is a lot of content coming out of here. I am trying my best to supply it, and if you happen to like my voice, happen to like what I build, then why not? Help support your boy. Let's actually get started now and get into the video. So during that time lapse, I actually ran into a little hiccup where I completely messed up my measurements and sort of stuffed up the thing, so I ended the time lapse, but here we are now. We have actually decreased this circle's diameter by 30 blocks. Now that doesn't sound like much when you have 180 blocks to begin with, and now it's 150, but as you can see, it is significantly smaller now. Quite ridiculous actually. It's going to look very cool when it's done. I'm thinking, and this actually looks like a lot more manageable in size. Still enormous, don't get me wrong. Like you can see for yourself, it is still very large and massive. But this is actually the original size that I had it when I first built it, and then I upped the size a little bit more. It's going to be a lot more manageable. So now the next step that we're going to fulfill is we're going to clear our inventory a little bit, go grab ourselves some stone, some andesite, and basically what we're going to do is do the same thing as we did for that island over there and this island here. We're going to build sort of the skeleton, the frame, for like all the bumps and everything that are going to be in this. It is going to be epic. So yeah, make sure to subscribe. It is going to be very cool. Let's just grab our materials and let's get building. Okay, so I have the stuff. We got a heap of stone. We got a heap of andesite just to spread into the framework itself and mark areas that we're going to be using andesite. because I want to create some variance in the build. As you can see there, you can see just a little of andesite spreaded through it, which will help a little bit out to make it look a little bit more detailed, I guess would be the word. So what we need to do first is work out the height that we want the bottom of the floating island itself. I'm thinking it's going to go pretty much all the way down to the ocean. It's going to be a very, very large base to build. This is by far the most what would you call it? Most grand, most massive base I've ever built. Anything I've ever built. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's find where we're going to start that point. And that is the bottom of the mega base. And I measured that block right there. This one right here. That is 10 blocks above the water. So it's probably just as well that we made our base a little bit smaller, because I honestly don't think it would looks good if we made it any bigger, because it wouldn't have been proportionate. We would have had like a little skinny bottom to it, and it would have looked very trash. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab out the time lapse. If I can stop getting killed by this drowned, just mind that. We're going to get out the time lapse, and we're going to time lapse me getting the framework in. And this is going to be a very long job. It's going to be basically me just building up, placing a little andesite as we go, just for that variance. But it should be very good in the end. Hopefully. Crossing my fingers. Let's finally start our mega base, which we've been on this realm for 4 months now, and we haven't started our proper mega base yet. We are behind. Let's finally start it. I'm ready. Are you ready? So that's the end of that little time lapse. We have done 4 lines of the framework, and what I'm thinking about doing now is adding an extra one in between each of these, just to add some more detail to it and provide more guidelines, because I think that's the issue that I had with a lot of these. I got to start thinking about following these so that like it's not much of a dramatic change, because as you can see right here, these have to be all smooth. Like in the end, like the reason that I've done a massive overhang, and then a bit of a smaller one, then a bit of a smaller one again, is because I want to make it so it's smooth. It's not a massive overhang and then just back to thick. Like I want to make it so it's very gradual. However, it's a different story here. We needed to have like a slight indentation there. But I think what we can do now is probably add one in between that and just do like a slight one there, and then it will smooth it out once we place in all the blocks. So I think if we do more of these in between, like one more lot in between each one, so each side will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It'll have about 8 lines of framework going through each side. So there's about 32 of these all up, and we've already done 5. So that's good. We're about a seventh of the way, a sixth of the way maybe. So yeah, let's keep at it. Another couple time lapses, and we'll surely be close to finishing the framework. And then the next episode will just be a bunch of placing in stone. started to rain and I'm really annoyed. The base building, the framework is going well, though. We have gotten a fair amount done, about half to be exact. Really, it's a bit over halfway, just by one, because now we only have to do that one straight one, whereas we've done 3 already. It's going to be quite a large project, I'm now realizing. I've used up a whole, like, 2 shulker boxes of stone so far, just doing these lines. And it's going to be quite extensive, I feel. And this arch down here, this is going to be a bit of a tricky area, I think. It's very annoying placing these overhangs in, because obviously you have to place the water bucket, and then it gets all complicated, kept falling off. But you know, we got there in the end. This is about halfway done. It's taken me about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get this far. Not that great really for time, but like, you know, it's our mega base. It should be taking a long time because it's mega. And right now I'm having a very distinct picture of a Beyblade. Oh no. Oh no. And there it is. We have completed the framework for our mega base, and it feels amazing. This took me probably around 3 hours total, with breaks of course, but you know, 3 hours of straight jumping up and down, placing randomly in order to get this look. Honestly, not much thought goes into it though. It's just a lot of time. Probably the most strenuous and annoying part probably was making these overhangs. They are not fun, but I hope very much that it will make a very big difference when the whole thing is done and dusted, because instead of having like a little single point and making it look like a spinning top, it adds these little bulges and really cool things to the build, and I think it'll look really good. Anyway, that is the floating island finished. However, we have one more project to do, and that is visit artificial voids. And yeah, so basically artificial void, Artie, has been basically terraforming this and turning this into sort of an overworld type landscape, I guess. And one really cool thing about it is that he's actually decided to host a competition for people to build little like mini like POIs, I don't know how to explain it, like buildings in this area. Is that like some sort of dragon or snake type thing? That's pretty cool. That's a massive thing. However, like so basically there's this competition to see who can build like the best and coolest like I think it's some sort of end gateway thing. So there's like a heap of gateways here that have been unlocked, and you can see one already here where there's a stairway going up. So what I think is going to happen here is people are going to build their best sort of creations, and then they get voted on. So basically, if you win the competition, I think you get like 3 netherite ingots as the prize, plus a heap of diamond blocks and stuff. And I think that this actually is starting to look really cool. If you come in from this way, that looks really cool, I must say. But you know, I think we may be doing this in the future. We got to just figure out what. And what I'm thinking is maybe a floating island. Yeah, like a little floating island just there. And I think that could tie into not only our little base, but also this really well. It could be like a little thing, just like a little tribute of like iron. So of course, I'm going to be thinking about that in between this video and the next. May get to work on it soon. I'm not sure when the deadline is for this project, but It's going to be quite interesting. Anyway, I think this is where I say goodbye. It's been a great episode, really. Made some, probably the most progress that I've made in a long time in this video. It's feeling really good. I'm now going to head back to the overworld, edit this video, and then pump out a next one, hopefully very soon. Thank you guys for watching, and bye. Oops, didn't even get into it. Bye. Oh, I'm back.